This video is now in session. Today I'm going to be focusing on three states, those being not Utah, not Kansas either. That was last video. I'm going to be focusing on Oklahoma, Arkansas, and South Carolina. If by the end of this video, if I get all three of these states done in less than 10 minutes, then I'll probably add another state to this list, and I'll probably include Kentucky. Yeah, I'll include Kentucky if we can cover that, if we can cover the rest of the states quickly enough. So, for Oklahoma is a very Republican state, like many of the states I've already mentioned, like West Virginia or Idaho. That said, Oklahoma's 5th District, which had a 95.2% chance of going Republican, was controlled by a Democrat, Kendra Horn, in 2018. Between 2018 and 2020, Kendra Horn got that 4.8% chance of winning, and she was able to win. Nonetheless, though, it did go back to Republicans in 2020 in that race where Stephanie Bice, the Republican challenger, won that, and now she is currently the representative from Oklahoma's 5th District. So what can Republicans do with this? Well, not much. Why? Because this map is already gerrymandered towards Republicans. There's literally no difference between those two, and they also hold the trifecta in all parts of government, and the redistricting is also delegated to the state legislature, which is controlled by a Republican. That said, if you are if you're curious to see how I guess this would work, let's go to how this would work in favor of Democrats. This is what the map would look like, where Democrats would have a 64.6% chance of winning. Now, this is also proportionally partisan. So this is the proportionally partisan map. That said, Democrats don't control any part of the redistricting process in Oklahoma, so this is definitely not going to happen. And if you just look at this, I think this would pass the compact clause, but some people would say that it wouldn't. So that's Oklahoma for you. All 5 are going to stay Republican. Now for Arkansas, the same is also true. Here, Democrats have a 9.5% chance of representing in that district and a 0.3% chance in the 3rd district. The other two is pretty insignificant for Democrats. It's not like these two were significant, though, for Democrats. And most likely what Republicans could do is gerrymander this map even further. This is what the map currently looks like, and this is what the map could look like, which would be even better for Republicans. Now, 538, which provides this redistricting map, which is very useful for this series. Without 538 and the gerrymandering project, I would not be able to make this series. But here, this is what they can do, which is to make it a little bit more which is a little more compact than the current map, and it also makes sure that Republicans can get all 4 of these seats, so that something like the 9.5% chance in the 2nd district does not happen. So that is Arkansas. Now, finally, the most interesting one of them all is South Carolina. South Carolina, it's pretty gerrymandered towards Republicans. In fact, this is literally the map that is the exact same map as the Republican gerrymandering map. Democrats could try to challenge this map in the state courts, and I wouldn't be surprised if they've already done that. That said, I don't think the court would say that this 1st district right here does not follow the compact clause. It's kind of obscure to see how it would follow the compact clause, but because literally it goes between islands here. It's cut off right here and cut off right there. So you think it would violate all the rules that are for redistricting. That said, South Carolina owns like this stretch of water right here. So what I guess the map drawers did was that they drew the congressional district so that it would also have this water, which would then make the entire district contiguous. Now, the South Carolina's 1st district was represented by a Democrat in 2018, and you'll see a lot a theme that prevails throughout this entire series, where Democrats control where Democrats controlled very Republican districts in 2018. 2018 was a pretty big blue wave for Democrats in the House, not in the Senate, but for the House, yes. And Joe Cunningham was able to win this district. That said, Nancy Mace, the Republican challenger in 2020, was able to flip this seat back towards Republicans, and it will most likely stay Republican in 2022. So yeah, there's no way to gerrymander this map forward even more. And that's pretty unfortunate for Republicans, actually, and pretty fortunate for Democrats because the person in this representative in this district, what is his name? Oh gosh, how can I forget these names? James Clyburn, yeah, Jim Clyburn, who represents from this district. I think he is the number 3 Democrat behind Steny Hoyer and as well as Nancy Pelosi. So if Republicans were able to gerrymander this forward even more, then you can bet that Jim Clyburn would not be able to win the election. That said, since it is gerrymandered, this is like the most gerrymandered it can get. Jim Clyburn can still stay in this district. Now, this is what happens when it's gerrymandered towards Democrats. Here you can see the island cut-in that's going on again, and it's because of the body of water that's South Carolina owns right there. Now, what Democrats would have a 3C minority. That's it. It would be a +2 compared to the current map. And here you can see a 82% chance of winning in the 5th district, 82% chance in the 1st district, and a 92% chance in the 6th district. For the 7th district, it's a 0.7% chance for Democrats, and then 0.3, 0.4, and 0.4. So this gerrymander, I guess, like, it utilizes Columbia because Columbia is pretty Democratic, and then it splits Columbia into 3 districts, the Columbia suburbs and the 1st district, and then it combines this with Charleston right there to make this district possible for Democrats, and then it utilizes this part of Columbia to make sure that the 6th district goes Democratic, and then uses the rest of Columbia to make sure that the 5th district goes Democratic. For the Republican gerrymander, the 6th district surrounds Columbia, so it cracks the Democratic vote, and then it cracks it with the 2nd district, where it then gets the rest of this area, which is pretty Republican. This area is pretty Democratic along with that area. So since it's been less than 10 minutes and we have gotten through all of these 3 states, let's go to Kentucky. Kentucky, this is another situation where Democrats could be screwed. I also have, before I do Kentucky though, I have to make a clarification on the last redistricting video. I mentioned that Kansas had a Democratic governor, but I didn't explain why Republicans would still be in control of the redistricting process that happens in Kansas. So Kansas has a rule saying that the governor can veto the congressional district plans. So for any of these light blue, teal states, the governors can veto the congressional district. That said, Republicans have a supermajority in the state House and the Senate, so above 66%. So that means that they can override the veto and pass the bill, or pass the map in this case. And the same thing applies to Kentucky, except it's a simple majority veto override instead of a supermajority, and that's useful because Kentucky Republicans can gerrymander this map even further. Right now, John Yarmouth represents Kentucky's 3rd district, and it's a pretty safe Democratic district. They have an 85% chance of winning there, and that's because of Louisville. That said, Republicans can gerrymander so that Louisville can be cracked into 2, or in this map that Dave Wasserman produces, it can be cracked into 3 separate districts, that being 2, 3, and 4, and then here it's cracked into 3 and 4. So I'll use this map because this is in my opinion, more gerrymandered for Republicans than this one is. 538 uses an algorithm to produce this, and sometimes they don't produce the most gerrymandered maps, so that's why I use Dave Wasserman for some of these states. So for this this one, the second district, since only part of Louisville is in this district, then it doesn't make this district competitive. Same thing with third district and fourth district, which means that which means that John Yarmouth is pretty screwed. Now Democrats could challenge this because Governor Andy Beshear is the current governor of Kentucky, and he is a Democrat, and as well as the son of Steve Beshear. That said, I mentioned earlier that the state legislature could just have a simple majority veto to override the governor's veto, which means that not Steve Beshear, that Andy Beshear just doesn't have a say in this, and as a result, that means a flip for Republicans just because of redistricting. So that is our first flip of the day. And let's see if I can do another state, because I think I could squeeze in one more state. Okay, none of these states really have like small enough. Actually, no, I can fit in Connecticut. I just realized I'll fit in Connecticut into this state, and then that'll be the end of this video. Okay, so Connecticut is one of the states that where their map is passed by the state legislature, but the governor cannot veto the map. I believe this reason was made because I think this was made because in 2010 Democrats controlled both parts of the legislature. So Democrats controlled the House and as well as the Senate. That said, there was a Republican that was in control of the governor's position in 2010. So that's most likely why they passed that rule, so that Jody Revell could not have a veto. That said, currently the governor of Connecticut is a Democrat, Ned Lamont, and Democrats can gerrymander this map even more. Right now, it's actually not that gerrymandered. That said, they could gerrymander this map. Now, this map, Republicans can say that Connecticut's 5th district does not follow the compact clause. That said, the court of Connecticut ruled against Republicans in 2011, and I'll assume that they'll rule it against Republicans if that happens again. That said, Democrats could gerrymander this map so every single congressional district is not competitive. Now, this is questionable. This district right here is questionable as to its following the compact clause, but let's just say it follows it. That would give Democrats an 82.6% chance and an 82.6% chance right there, compared to right now, which gives 62.1% chance here and 68.9% chance. That said, I don't think Democrats are going to do that, or they're not going to follow through with this Democratic gerrymander, mainly because it could be challenged by the courts. And in addition, currently all congressional districts are represented by Democrats, so there really isn't a need for Connecticut to be gerrymandered by Democrats. So that's the end of this video. Another flip for Republicans, and you'll probably see that for all futures coming forward, all videos coming forward, which means that that the claim that Republicans can win just through redistricting, that claim will probably hold true. So, thanks for watching this video. This video is now adjourned, and I'll see you in the next one where I will talk about New Mexico, Nevada, as well as Indiana.